Hey, what's happening? It's your host Tinto, and before I get started on this weekend's episode, I just want to say special shout out and thank you to everybody that gave us a rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You'll be pleased to know that for Spotify, we've gone up from 381 ratings to 473. And then on Apple Podcasts, we've gone up from 79 to 93. You guys have no idea how this really feeds into the big plans that I have for you in the new year. So if you haven't had the opportunity to, please head over to the About section for the podcast wherever you listen to and give us a rating. And hopefully you've enjoyed the content so much that will be a 5-star rating. 2024 is going to be one hell of an experience for you guys, and this is the beginning of all that magic. We are approaching Christmas, and I hope you guys have a fantastic season. I'll try and drop an episode or two before the New Year's. Well, this is on Christmas Eve. Hopefully a decent Christmas present for you guys, and yeah, have a fantastic time. If not, catch you in the New Year. And by the way, coffees don't stop during the Christmas season. It'd be nice for me to celebrate a nice Christmas. So if you'd like to give some coffees, please head over to www.buymeacoffe.com/feeling station, and remember to give as your spirit leads. And yeah, here's a new episode. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
How you doing?
Very well, thanks. And yourself?
Fantastic.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
So happy to be here. I'm so excited.
For those listening to the podcast for the first time, it's a romantic family and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give lessons from their experiences. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And the podcast, as you know, is very popular for two main reasons. One being I do my best to keep my guests anonymous, which brings me to the fun part for me, the naming ceremony. Are you ready for this one?
I don't know. Are you?
You don't know?
Let's see what you got, buddy.
Okay, so I'm still keeping the names African, and I've gone to the top of Africa. So your name is from Egypt, right? And your name is Aisha. And I didn't know that was an Egyptian name. And
Really?
yeah, no, I didn't, because there's really five, I think, places where you hear this kind of name. So it's in Arabic, it's in Urdu, it's in Egyptian, it's in Swahili, and it's in Hausa. So it was a little difficult for me to place where it might have been from. And what that name means is somebody who's living and alive.
Yeah, that sounds like me, all right.
It's like you had to think about that for a second. No, it sounds about right because you're alive, nah?
No, you know what? Every single day, all I'm trying to do is live my best life. That's all I've
Yeah.
got. All you can do is
Yeah.
try your best every day. You ain't got nothing else. Maybe you'll pass, maybe you'll fail, but that's all you've got, right?
100%. And you know, it's funny we talk about being alive, because I was just reading an article that came out today. I don't know if you've seen it, about a guy called Mandla in Bulawayo. So it's circulating on social media. Like, it's really hot. It happened just last night. So a guy called Mandla was spending quite a bit of money on a girl, finds out that he's not really the only guy in the picture. He kills her. And then, yeah, I know, tragic. Kills her, and then he records a voice note that he sends via WhatsApp saying he's not sure whether she's dead or alive, but he thinks she's dead. And then he goes, because I found out that there were other guys in the picture and I was spending money on this girl, taking the to and from South Africa, etc., etc. So in a nutshell, I think he was hurt about the fact that he was spending money and he wasn't the only guy in the picture. What he then does is crash his car onto an oncoming bus. And if you see the picture of the car, it is horrific. There's absolutely no way that he survived. He's obviously dead. But what bugs me the most is that in the decision to take the life of someone, which is the girlfriend, he's gone and crashed into a bus, which normally has many other lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people who are just about going their business, probably trying to go and see family around this time of year, which is very precious and important. And they decided to do that. Which just makes me think how meaningful your name actually is. Because you're living and you're alive.
Oh gosh, I really appreciate that.
Do, right?
I've been, yeah. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
do what I can, boy. That's all I got.
Yeah. And what are you calling the guy that you're going to talk about on this episode?
Ooh. Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, I don't even feel like he's worthy. Let's just call him Blaz.
Yeah.
I can't even give him a name. Mangunzi Blaz.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not even worthy.
And for those who don't understand, blaz is slang for guy, brother. Guy, just a
Yeah.
dude.
Just some
Okay.
dude.
Just some dude. Okay. So
Yeah,
this is
just
about
some
Blaz
dude.
and Aisha. And the second reason why the podcast is really popular is they're real life lessons that people are going to walk away from listening to your episode. So, what would you like someone listening to this right now to go away with?
Number one, you see, I'm calling him Blaz. He's just some dude.
Mhm.
Mr. Right now is not always Mr. Right, hey?
Hey, I like that. Oof, nice.
Mm.
Okay, nice. Got a second lesson?
You marry the whole family. When you get attached
Yeah.
to someone, you take the whole squad.
Yeah.
You don't get to
Yep.
pick and say, "Oh, I want this relative, that relative, nothing." Whoever you're
Mhm.
attached to, you're taking the whole lot.
Guess what? A friend of mine once said, a really precious friend of mine, and may soul rest in peace because he's not with us anymore, once said to me, when you get involved with someone, it's not just you. It's you, it's that person, it's your family, it's their family, it's your friends, their relatives, their
Mhm.
cousins, and everything under the sun. And if
Yeah.
you do decide to untangle something, it's not just the two of you. It's
Nothing
it's
like
the
that.
it's the immediate family, it's the friends, it's the cousins, it's the whole squad.
It's
The whole
everybody
bloody
down to
squad.
the chick who checks you out at the grocery store who always sees you people together.
Bloody hell. Yeah, nah. You got a third lesson?
Oh, this one's very important,
Mm-hmm.
especially for these young ones.
Yeah.
Don't sleep with anyone you're not willing to spend your life with.
Ah. Okay, I like that one. That's a really good one. That's a
That
really good
was
one.
that was my major mess up in this whole story.
Really?
Because you know what happens every
Yeah.
time you sleep with someone?
Mm.
You can make a baby.
Oh yes, 100%. Every encounter is an opportunity for a new life.
Everybody thinks it's just about getting married. It's not.
Mm.
So don't sleep with anyone you're not willing to spend your life with. You might end up spending your life with them even if they're not married to you.
Yeah, I
And you
like
know
how
what?
you said
You
that.
still take the rest of their family too with that.
Oh shit! I like how you said that.
Oh, did I lie? Auntie,
Yeah, no,
that's what's up.
yeah, no, that's the truth. You didn't lie. And have you got a fourth lesson by any chance?
No, I only had those three.
Yeah, that's that's pretty cool.
They're pretty
So
serious.
no, they are, and I'll just play them back. So lesson number one, Mister Right Now is not always right. I really like that. Lesson number two, you marry the whole family. When you get attached, you take the whole squad with you. And then last but not least, you got don't sleep with anyone you're not willing to spend your life with. Because I'm guessing if something happens like a baby, you still won't be married to them, but you still end up spending the rest of your life with them because of that attachment.
You know what I'm saying.
Cool. So let's get into it then. Aisha, where did you meet Blaz? And why did you decide, I'll give this guy a chance at a relationship?
Okay, so I'm able to like compartmentalize my feelings. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not I don't fall in love easily. Um
Mm-hmm.
I am happy to get the sausage without buying the whole pig, if you know what I'm saying.
That's a bit prophetic. My brain is not capable of deciphering certain things. What do you mean you're quite happy getting the sausage without the whole pig?
Like this is why I said don't just sleep with someone who you don't want to spend your life with, girl.
Mm,
I made that mistake. I know that. Listen, I can do
okay.
that. I can just have a physical relationship with someone and have no emotional attachment to them at all. I can compartmentalize my feelings.
Right. Okay. Deep. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So when I met Blaz, I had just
Mm,
broken up with a guy that I was so into. Oh my gosh. And I even told him,
mm,
you know what, Ka? I don't really feel like I'm in love with you right now, but maybe I can get there, you know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And he
Mm.
was so sure he could convince me. Oh, I guess that's another lesson. Don't think you can change someone. He was so sure he could convince me, but it just never
Yeah.
happened. Like
Mm.
this guy, like we lived in different cities. He would like fly me out. We'd go to these fancy clubs. We'd always be in the VIP,
Mm. Mm.
high rolling, mad, mad, mad fun.
Mm.
And then he hit a little bit, and then he hit a little bit of a rough patch. And I
Mm.
was still just like, we'll see if I still like you, whatever. Let's get through it. But then he had other chicks on the side that I didn't know
Mm.
about that were making him like feel like because he was high rolling them now. Me, I'm now take it for granted. But
Yeah.
he was busy
Oh,
doing
right.
his high rolling thing with these other ones on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bo. Like I said, I can compartmentalize. So I was just like, you know what? I wasn't really trying to be in this relationship for the long term anyway. So since it's not working between us, let me just dip.
Mm.
2 weeks later, there go the pregnancy test.
So, how long were you with this guy for before you decided to dip?
Year and a half.
Okay. So you did a year and a half. I really haven't caught where you guys met in the first place anyway.
We met in the
Uh,
States, in Texas.
oh, okay. So
Yeah,
you met out in the US. Was this at a party? Was this at a friend's house? On a
in the
dating site?
in the club.
In the
Like,
club?
yeah, anyway, we were problematic in our time.
So you guys were busy hanging out in the club. You're having a good time. I'm guessing you'd gone there with your girls, or maybe a couple of friends, or
Oh yeah, of course.
okay. So you meet out in the club, and then what? Did this guy just randomly rock up to you and start saying, walk me through that? I've got no vision of how that happened.
No, at first he was very subtle about it. Like it'll just be like hi hi. And then eventually he like kind of someone who you see them all the time, so you're always like hi hi, and then eventually you end up hanging out with them.
Mm.
So he didn't like come direct. No, he did like a sneak attack. And
A
he
sneak
happened to
attack.
catch me when I was vulnerable, which should have
Oh
been a red
yeah.
flag from the beginning because he really came hard like once I was single, which was like literally like the day after everyone found out me and my boyfriend had broken up. He was like,
Mm.
I'm here, I like you.
Oh wow.
So that's why I was always like, listen, we can try, but I'm not quite there yet.
I see. And then because you said you can compartmentalize stuff, this is where the whole sausage and not the whole pig thing comes in. You're able to have something to take care of what you may have needed in the time whilst you were going through your breakup. And we're also very transparent in saying because I have this going on in the back, there's no guarantee I can give you something worthwhile.
Exactly. And
So it
he
was
was
actually up
always
to
like,
him.
you can love me. No, I can make you love me. You know,
I
it was one of those. And I was
so,
always, I was like, I'll try,
hey, is that
because I really didn't know if I could or I couldn't.
mm, well
Or
you
like
you
I said, all I can do is what I'm doing right now. I can't tell you about tomorrow.
you did fire the shots, you fired the warning shots to say, hey, be careful. But then he was convinced that he was able to change you and wanted to change you.
Yeah,
So,
he
if
he
anything
did.
went south,
He tried.
potentially yeah, you said he was a walking red flag from the beginning anyway. What's that about?
Well, in hindsight, I should have seen
Mm,
that it was a red flag. Because any person who wants to change you doesn't want you for who you are. Right? I already said I don't think I can love you, and he was like, I can make you love me. I should have seen for myself that hey, wait, this person wants to change who I am. That's a red flag.
mm.
I see it now, but in the moment, I didn't see it.
Okay. So, because you mentioned a pregnancy test, I'm assuming you guys, obviously were having sex. At some point, this pregnancy caught on. Tell me about
Oh
that.
yeah. So now we've broken up, and I'm leaving. I don't want to live with you anymore. I'm leaving. I'm already moving out. I've already sorted everything out. Now I've figured out I'm pregnant. Now what am I gonna do? So I was like, you know what?
Mm.
We're not gonna keep the baby. And he was like, no,
Ooh.
that's fine. Don't keep the baby. I'll come. I'll be there for you to hold your hand while you get rid of it.
Mad.
Then I move out, I do all my stuff. I'm cool. Now we don't live together. We're officially broken up. And then I pull up to the clinic and I just can't get out the car.
Mm.
Like this kid didn't do anything. Why is this kid suffering?
Yeah.
So I didn't do it.
I'm assuming he wasn't there.
I didn't do it. He wasn't there. He didn't come, and I kept the baby. I kept the baby.
How did you break it to him that you've kept the baby?
Just like I just told you, I'm keeping the baby. And
And
I
and
even
and
told him, because like I am a big, like the whole reason I exist is my dad. Like I'm daddy's. If you've ever met a daddy's girl, it's me. My whole
Mhm.
world revolved around my dad. Every like all my building blocks, he made me exactly who I am. I am his daughter. So I was like, you know what? If you're not gonna be there for the child, don't be there at all, because you got to be like my dad or nothing. There's no in
Mm.
between. You can't come and go and pick and choose. No, you're either my dad or you're not here at all. So pick. I can keep the baby
Mm.
by myself. Don't worry about that.
Mm.
But don't come and go in my child's life. You'll cause problems.
When did you tell him this? On the same day that you're meant to have
Yeah, yeah.
done.
Before that day, sitting in the parking lot looking at the clinic,
Mm. What was his reaction?
he was like, "No, I still think you should do it." And I was like, "No, I know, Auntie. That's what we agreed. I know it's me now going back on the deal, right? I'm willing to take
Mm.
responsibility for it, but you don't now come halfway. Say yes or no now. I'm telling you, it's a no
Yo.
for me."
Mm.
He's like, "No, no, no, no. I don't want to be there." All right, boh, you don't want to be there. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I go on about my life. I take care of myself. About 6 months in, I go out to dinner with my friend and we bump into his friends.
Mm.
And he's busy telling them that I don't know who the father of my child is. And I'm just claiming that it's him because I was so used to his high rolling life I just need the child support.
Mm.
Got me walking down the street, people calling me names in the street. I was like, okay, it's fine. Left it like that. What happens the day before my child is born? This guy shows up at my house. Flew from wherever he was, shows up at my house and he's like, I want to be a dad.
Yeah, had you told him where you moved to?
Yeah, he knew where it was. Listen, I can't hide from you. If you want to be part of your child's life, I cannot now be like, no, you know?
No, but wait. You said to him when you're in the car, you gotta decide now whether we're keeping the baby or we're not, and he said don't. Which I took to assume to say he didn't want to be a part of the child's life.
Yeah, but it didn't stop him from calling all the time and trying to find out what was going on with me.
So that means he's sending you mixed signals. So the
Right.
directive you're giving, to be very clear, the direction of travel wasn't clear.
Right. You're saying something to me, you're saying something else to your homeboys. I don't know what's going on. Now you're showing up in my house. I'm pretty sure that's what sent me into labor. But now you're showing up in my house talking about you want to be part of the baby's life. Okay, fine. You want to be part of the baby's life. Okay, fine. We have the
Is
baby.
is that how you received it? Like, okay, fine, that's it. No excitement. Yeah, an
No,
opportunity
I
for this
wasn't excited.
child to. Oh.
I wasn't excited for myself,
Mm.
but I was excited. As I said, I was daddy's baby. I would never take that away from my kid. Just because me and him are not okay does not mean now I should take him from his kid or his kid from him. That's that's not me. I can't do that. I have no jurisdiction on that. He has as much right to be with his child as much as I do.
So where were you speaking from? Were you speaking from a place of disappointment, anger, confusion, despair?
Disappointment.
when you said to him, either be in or out. Because now it sounds like you really wanted him to be in. So your language could have been different to say, hey, you know what, despite what you feel, I would still want you to be a part of this child life, even if you change your mind later. Because you sounded quite definitive. And I don't want to dismiss that because you're expressing an emotion.
I think at the time when I said it, I was angry.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not about me, right? And I always come back to that. This decision wasn't for me. It's for this kid. This kid needs a father. Now, that's not to say that I was in a relationship. So my kid would have had a father regardless. My kid has a father regardless. But it doesn't change the fact that she needs to know her biological roots. I can't take that from her. Which I feel like he was unable to understand. That's what I was trying to say. He felt like we were a package.
Yeah.
This is where that compartmentalizing thing comes in. I'm happy for you to come here and spend every day with your kid if that's what you want. But that ain't I got nothing to do with that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. I mean, I just needed to
clarify,
at least get get a clear picture, because I hadn't got where it might have been coming from, but now I get it. So he turns up at the house.
He turns up. My mother has come from Zimbabwe, and she's like, "You guys should try to have a relationship." And my boyfriend that I had the whole time broke up with me and was like, "You guys should try." Oh my God, really? Yeah, everybody was like, "You gotta try with this guy. You got a baby with this guy. You gotta try with this guy." Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but wait, also. You had an ex who you broke up with, and soon after you broke up with, Blas came into the picture. You were with Blas for 18 months, decided to leave. As soon as you leave, you decide you're pregnant. And then you're telling me that there's an ex in there somewhere who is now saying you guys must be back together. Which ex are we talking about?
No, he's not an ex. He's a husband now. He's not an ex. He's a boyfriend that I got after I broke up with Blas. Was happy to.
That's the part where I'm a bit confused. So let's say you broke up with Blas on the 1st of January. When did you get with your husband now?
Oh God. Like 8 months later. 9 months later. We'd only been together like 2 or 3 months when the baby was born. Like together.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Okay, this is a fresh relationship." That one lasted longer than the 2-3 months we had or whatever. So, give that one a try. Auntie, you've got a kid. I was also very upset.
I have a feeling you might be a bit vague here, and I wanted to tread carefully.
Go for it.
Right? Only because I think you strike me. I really don't know this, but I think you strike me as the kind of person who would listen to this podcast with your husband.
Yeah.
Yes? Is that a yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel I might need to be careful the questions that I ask, in case I ask questions that could reveal details that might not be good for your marriage. Because the way you're answering me is a bit shady, bruh. Okay,
no,
so
you know what? If the questions you're asking me, they're not things I thought to say. I'm just answering your questions.
Well, here we are, and I'm saying to you, it's a bit vague to me what happened between Blas and your husband now, because
I didn't even know my husband. You know that? I didn't meet him until like 3 months after I broke up with Blas. And then we were friends for a while, and then we only dated for like 2 or 3 months. And then he was like, "You know what? You're about to have somebody else's baby. Maybe you should try with that guy."
So that was before the guy turned up at the house?
Yeah, that was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I panicked because I thought your husband had decided, no, you should try to be with this guy after he turned up to your house.
No, listen, my husband has always, anyway, we'll get to that part, but he's always like stepped back before anything has even, like it's like he sees the future. He's a weirdo. But anyway, so Now you're at my house. We have the baby.
Mm, mm.
Everything is fine. For the next 3 months, 4 months, yeah, until the baby was sitting, yeah, 4 months. You know, I'm just single, trying to do my thing with my kid. By the way, I'm the only one taking care of my kid. This guy is just calling and not doing anything.
Hold on. I know the podcast and this episode is not about your husband, but you and your husband broke up before the baby was born.
Yes,
The reason being,
that I was having a baby with someone else, and he felt like I should try with that person.
but he knew you were having a baby anyway when he asked you out to be his girlfriend. So what's changed?
I don't know. You want me to ask him?
You, you didn't want to know yourself at the time?
You know what? To be honest, okay. My understanding of him as a person and the way he behaves still not to this day, he's the kind of person who always wants to do the right thing. Right? It wouldn't have been morally correct to, just come and swoop in or not give this guy a chance. Maybe he was just wrong that time that he said no. And maybe now that he said yes, that's what he really means. We should give him a try. Maybe he's really serious now. Maybe he was just scared when he said it the first time. He's not the kind of person who would just be like, no, 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 I'm that person.
Okay.
It's me.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
always he's always the voice of reason.
Okay.
He's always the voice of reason. And that's a major part of why I love him. He's always quick to be like, hey babe, you know what? I don't think you necessarily did the right thing when you did this. A lot of people get in relationships and they just let each other do whatever.
Yeah.
I can't be with someone like that. I need someone who's going to be like, hey, listen, I didn't like this. Or I didn't think you were right for doing this. We don't have to agree. It's fine. But stand your ground. You didn't think this was correct? Cool. Also, me, when I don't think something is correct, I'm going to tell you, I didn't like this. You shouldn't have done that.
Okay. Cool. So yes, you now go ahead and you said when the baby could now sit.
Now the baby can sit. I take the baby. I take the baby to go meet his relatives in another city.
The relatives on your side or his side?
His side.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take the baby. Everyone's so happy. Oh, Muzukuru, blah, blah, blah. You know how Africans are. And then on the third day, my baby's got like a little square at the back of her head. Like,
Little square.
Like the shearing, them barber things where you cut off someone's hair, the thing they used to cut your hair. She's got like a little square at the back of her head like that. So I'm like, dude, me and my baby has had a full head of hair all this time. How come she's missing a little patch at the back? These people cut my baby's hair and made her have a DNA test without asking me. Which, by the way, I would have said yes. You want a piece of paper that says you're stupid? Oh, sign me up.
Wow.
Yeah. He cut my baby's hair and did a DNA test without saying anything.
What was his reaction when he got the results?
Oh, no. To this day, he maintains that they never did it. But I'm not stupid, dude. To this day, he maintains that they never did it. But before I went to go see the relatives, he was always maintaining, I don't know if it's my kid, I don't know if it's my kid. But when I came back, now all of a sudden, it's your kid? Now all of a sudden, you can claim it? Okay. So me and Blaz, we talk maybe once every 6 months for the first about 5 years. He shows up once every 6 months, spends $300 and disappears, and then we don't hear from him again for a long time, which made me very upset, as you can imagine, right? And as I was saying, my husband I don't even know where he came from. He's the one who was like, listen, you guys need to come to peace because this child needs a father. I cannot, yes, I'm her father, don't get me wrong, but she needs to know where she came from. You guys need to make up. Okay. I reach out. He doesn't reach back out. Next thing, I'm being summoned to court. Ningi wants custody of the baby.
Yeah, but like full custody?
Yeah, he wants full custody because he makes more money per month than I do. So he deserves custody because he's more financially stable. We get to
What?
the court. The
Mm.
judge says, if you're more financially stable, why haven't you been paying any child support? You haven't been buying diapers. You
Hey.
haven't been doing nothing. She's the only person here with receipts. Where are your receipts to show that you were taking care of your child?
Yeah.
So I got full custody and I got child support, which was not my intention. I never,
Yeah.
like, I don't, I'm not that person. I don't want to do that. If you don't want, you don't want. Auntie, that's what I told you. If you don't want, you don't want.
Mm.
Cool. So once the contention of that got passed, we came to a little mediation, thanks to who is now my husband.
Mm.
And he would come, he would stay with us, stay with the baby, and he was supposed to have her for a month of the year, and we would let her go for 3 months. Because like I said, it's important. That's her father, right?
Mm.
Bo, go, take your child. And then come 2015, I told him, listen, I need to what? I need to go to Zimbabwe. My dad is sick.
Mm.
He writes the affidavit, everything. I come home and he's like, you know what? I actually think it's better that you take the kid home because, school is better there. The environment is better. More of the families there. She can meet my grandparents, all that kind of stuff. Of which to me,
Mm.
I just think it was for him an excuse to just not pay the child support, to be honest. But I was like,
Mm.
okay, cool. Before I came home, he ended up getting arrested.
Oh.
Turns out all that money you were making was from a criminal enterprise.
Shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So while he was in there, I would, he'd call. Like he used to call every day to talk to her. And so I told him, gee, she's not going to be upset if you tell her you're in prison. Just tell her you made a mistake and you're out on timeout. You know how it is with the little kids. You told them they're on
Yeah.
timeout. Yeah.
Mm.
Just tell her
Mm.
that.
Mm.
But don't lie to her.
Mm.
He tells her, oh, I'm in Jamaica.
I'm in Jamaica. Time out in
Uh,
Jamaica.
I'm in Jamaica. I'm doing what I'm doing in Jamaica. Me, I send the baby over there to go and see him. She can
Mm.
read now, and she sees Federal Correction Institution. She's like, "You're in prison, dude."
Mm.
So I come home. Oh, 2016, beginning of 2016, my dad died. I came home.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was not great. I came home.
Mm.
I left the family.
Mm.
They followed behind. But before they came, my husband left my daughter with his cousins and stuff. And then they
Mm.
were supposed to put her on a flight to follow. Did they put her on the flight?
No?
No, they did not put her on the flight
Why?
because they were like, you're kidnapping the baby. We're never going to
What?
see her again. Yeah, dude. Yeah. But the kid is supposed to come home and we're supposed to pick her up. Not me, but your mother. Blaz's mother was supposed to pick her up.
Oh my God.
Not even me. She wasn't even coming to me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I went through the proper channels. I got my child back. She came over here. 2 years later, he sends me an email and says, oh, I've been released from prison. I want to restart my relationship with the child. Meanwhile, public record says you were released 2.5 years ago.
What?
Yes. So I didn't say anything because obviously this is a child support thing, right? He's trying to get out of paying for those last 2 years, which I can
Yeah.
understand, right? If you've just gotten out of prison, it's not like you can just get a job tomorrow,
Mm.
So I'm understanding. I'm like, okay, maybe he just needed some time to get himself together. Cool.
Mm.
I'll let it
Mm.
be. Here, talk to your child. The child is like, I don't want to talk to him right now. I said, he told me he was in Jamaica and he made me feel like he forgot about me. And
How
child,
old was what child at this point?
she was 9.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I just feel like he forgot about me. That's what he told me, right? He told me he was in Jamaica living his best life. And then he
Mm.
didn't call for 3 years.
Mm.
So I feel like he forgot about me. And I told her, I even told her, you want to be funny. My dad just died.
Mm.
You have 2 dads, and then you want to act fly. Are you serious right now? And she's like,
Looks like
no,
looks like
you
she's
know,
processing it for for
yeah.
herself, I guess.
And that's what I told him is, let's give her some time to process it. But I
Mm.
promise you, I've got your back.
Mm. Mm.
I promise you, I've got your back. And it wasn't about having his back. It's more about her. I don't want
Mm.
her to not trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Did this guy believe me? No. Next thing I know, I've got detectives knocking on the door. You've kidnapped
What?
this. Yeah, from the American embassy. You've kidnapped this child. You're not letting her talk to her father. Yo, 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 yo.
What?
My gosh. The child
Mm-mm.
gets on the phone. She tells him, no, mommy never told me I couldn't talk to you. You just never called.
Mm.
Up, I've got my screenshots of when I was calling you and you were declining my calls.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We get past that. Now I'm letting the baby go to his mom's house. Auntie, he's in the States and she's over here. Cool.
Mm.
Now I'm letting you go. Everything, boo. I live your best life. Fast forward to last year,
Mm-hmm.
February of last year. Grandma comes and she's like, listen, because I would always let her take her for Christmas. I mean, she's like, Christmas, it was nice, but the house isn't the same. You know what? Let me keep her. So I was like, okay, fine. Take the baby. I give her the baby.
Mm.
She keeps the baby. Every weekend, I'm going. I'm taking groceries. I'm doing everything. I just don't see the kid Monday to Friday, but every weekend I'm there.
Mm.
In October of last year, we went to the dentist. I'll never forget. We went to the dentist on Friday.
Mm.
Saturday, we went out for pizza. Sunday, we hung out again at the house. Monday, I get an email, another court summons.
Ooh. What?
You abandoned your child at my mother's house, so I need full
What?
custody.
What? What is it with this whole full custody thing that he was after?
I
Do
have
you
no
know?
idea.
Mm.
I have no idea. I actually have no idea.
Mm.
Mind you, all this time, I haven't been getting any help with this child, eh? I'm not getting no financial nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. You're not calling, we haven't spoken.
Mm.
I'm just
Mm-hmm.
giving up the child, just giving up, just telling myself it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This is what I'm saying. Some of these people, do you know what cognitive dissonance is?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this was an extreme example of cognitive dissonance.
Mm.
I just kept telling myself whatever I had to tell myself to make myself feel better about what I was doing. But this was very problematic.
Yeah.
And I infected someone else with the problem.
Mm.
So now, after these 3 days we spent together, I get the court summons. Over here, grandma has put her affidavit of 2 pages talking about how I just left the child at her house with her things and I never came back. She can't get a hold of me. She never sees me.
She did this,
Nothing. Yeah,
knowing full well the story that it wasn't true.
knowing full well. That's why I said when you take someone, you take the whole squad. You see, now I'm stuck with this guy. I got to take his mother too.
Wow.
By now my kid is 15.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure you can tell I have a very dominant character. I've been teaching her the same thing. You stand up for yourself. If you feel like somebody's not treating you right, you say something.
Mm.
So I went and I got her. I just showed up at the house, got her, packed up all her stuff, took her home. I didn't even say anything to anyone. Because, I've been with you for the last 3 days. You couldn't tell me that, hey, by the way, this is the action we took on you. No.
Ah, that's bad.
Okay, no problem. Now I've got my kid. You're calling me. Why did you take her? I was like, I didn't even respond because I was like, why do you think? Also, I don't want to disrespect anyone's mother. That's not nice.
Mm.
Now we get to the court. I stayed his lawyer, he submitted proof that he makes over $250,000 a year. You know that?
Wow.
That was his income statement that he submitted to the court to prove that he was a better parent than me. 250
Wow.
grand a year. But you are not sending even $100 for your child?
Mm.
Meanwhile, he's been sending it to his mom.
Was the mom meant to kind of use that to do things with your daughter when she was there, or what was the arrangement there? Why was he sending it to his mom? Is to support his mom's um life?
It was to support her. Like, okay,
Mm.
even before she was staying with him, he'd be like, "Oh, honey, I sent you money for pizza. I sent $100 for pizza." But she'd be getting the little $2 pizza. You know, the personal pizza from Pizza Inn.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the pizza she'd be getting. But he'd have sent $100.
Wow.
Now, who am I to now tell somebody that that's what their mom is doing?
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
So after I had a huge nervous breakdown, I just ended up explaining to my daughter, "Listen, we're fighting. This is what's happening. This is why I came to get you from grandma's house with no explanation, no nothing. I don't really know what to do. So you just tell me what you want
Mm.
because, you're 15 now. You can make an adult decision." So she called him and she was like, "Hey, but why didn't you ask me what I wanted to do though? Why didn't you ask me if I wanted to be with you or, you know what I mean? Like, don't
Mm.
you think I have an opinion?" And you know what he told her?
Mm.
He told her, "I didn't think your opinion mattered."
Eh.
Let me ask you, Tinder. Even
Mm.
if you take a 3-month-old and you give them a lemon and they eat it, until they make
Mm.
that face like, "Oh, this is disgusting."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
having an opinion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How can you think a 15-year-old doesn't have an opinion?
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, from there she was upset. She was upset. She spent 3 hours on Zoom with the court counselor, and she was like, "Listen, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. He didn't ask me nothing. This has been my experience with him. He lied to me. At least my mom, she's not perfect, but she's always honest. She's always
Mm.
here. But if he had just at least asked me, I would feel better about this. But like the way he just acts, I don't know. I don't think I want to go over there. I think I should go over there when I'm old enough to handle my own decisions because this guy seems like he's
Mm.
just going to force me to do what he wants."
Mm.
So here we are, a year and some change later.
Mm.
And I'm no longer forcing her to talk to him. I used to ask
Mm.
her every day. I don't do it anymore. After what he did to me, I'm not doing that anymore. My cognitive dissonance has kicked in. Enough.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, that's my thing is, guys, that whole thing of, oh, your parents are your parents, it's crap. Sometimes your parent is bad for you, eh?
Yes.
And we mustn't force our kids into bad situations, even though we know that's what we're doing.
That is deep and strong to say.
It is. It is. Nobody is perfect. Are you perfect?
No.
Right? You've got flaws that if your son found out about today, maybe he'll like you, maybe he won't. But it doesn't change the fact that that's you, right? You're still just a regular human being. You're not perfect. He's not perfect. None of us are perfect.
Mm.
So yeah, some of these things we just need to know when to back up. So for me, those are my lessons that I'm telling everyone. They're all
Mm.
things I did wrong.
But one of the things I'm thinking about here is the cost of all of this legal representation on your end, because he's obviously got counsel to work with him. Were you needing to engage lawyers yourself?
I'm about to finish my 4th year of law school.
Oh, now as we speak.
Yeah, I'm about to finish my 4th year of law school. I'm graduating in about
Wow.
6 months
Because of this experience?
because I'm a bad mama jamma. But yes, also this experience helped. Honestly, I did start doing law because when my dad died, there was
Mhm.
no one. Okay, my dad had the best lawyer, but the cost of the hours, the lawyer decided it would be better for me to represent my mother, and
Yeah.
so I did that, and then somebody sponsored me to go to law school because they were impressed because I won every time. I've never gone to court and lost. I
Whilst you
know what I'm
represent
talking
yourself.
about.
Yeah, whilst you represent yourself.
No. Yeah, I
Mm.
represented myself. I represented my
Mm.
father. I represented my father's company. I represented my mother with
Wow.
absolutely no training, and I've always won. I've never gone to like his lawyer submitted 25 pages of a statement. My response was
Mm.
70 pages. She had nothing to
70
say.
pages.
You don't know me like that. I keep my receipts. I know exactly what I'm saying.
Yo, this is crazy.
Yeah,
So all of this drama is happening with the courts. The last time he's gone for sole custody, he's earning 250K. I'm guessing that ended up working against him because they would have used that as evidence to say you can support, so do the right thing, and they had to backdate it. Is
exactly.
that correct? Mm.
Yeah, he owes me about $55,000 right now.
Are you having problems getting that, or
I'm having massive problems getting it.
what's the challenge?
These people who do the under table deals can't really
Mm.
track it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, ultimately, as far as the law goes, once, wait, but she's 16 now. So in 2 years, she's the one who's going to be chasing after that money. The
Oh
money's not
yeah.
for me, it's for her. So you figure it out with you. You see, these are the things I'm talking about. If you just hadn't gone to court in the first place, you wouldn't have to explain to your daughter why you owe $55,000 in child support. I didn't do that to you. You did it to yourself. But I'm still the bad guy. I didn't take you to court.
Do you know why he's so spiteful, or suspect why he could be so spiteful?
I honestly don't know. Like the only reason I can come up with is because he's mad because I moved on, which sounds very self-centered. But I really don't like, dude. What the hell? I really just feel like I don't know. I don't know why he wants to just get me like that. It's not like he doesn't have an. It's not like he doesn't have a family. You
Mm.
know. It's not like he's not taking care of someone else's kid. You know. He's not. I have no idea. I have no idea what his issue is. We don't talk because when we talk, I run over him. But yeah,
It's obviously not a great relationship between you two.
no.
And now, how is it for your daughter? I know now she has someone that she calls dad. You know, who's your husband, and that's great. But her knowing that there's dad and there's a father, how does that work for her?
Until just now, when she figured out that this is what was going on, she was
Mm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason I had to tell her why was because, like I'm saying, I just uprooted her from a situation and she was old enough to ask the question. And
Mm.
I don't feel like I should have lied to her.
Mm-hmm.
I just told her straight up, here, this is what's happening. And even after that, I was always like, talk to him, talk to him, talk to him, talk to him. But after about 6, 7 months, I was just like, I'm forcing her. She doesn't want to talk to him because
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
brings up a good point. If he really cared about that much, he would have talked to her. He would have said, hey, honey, do you want to stay with me or do you want to stay with mom? Let's have a
Mm.
discussion. So at this point, she just feels like he doesn't care what she thinks. And I mean, that statement of, I didn't think you'd have an opinion. Why would you tell a 15-year-old girl that you didn't think that they had an opinion? Like, what?
It's also reflective of the nature of the relationship, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That if somebody thinks that a 15-year-old wouldn't have an opinion, they've obviously not thought of the fact that kids, after a certain point, do have opinions.
They always have opinions.
And some very strong opinions of things that we may not have even thought about as adults ourselves.
Yeah. Like I grew up in a house where I was just told you have to do this because I say so. So
Yeah.
I'm acutely aware of asking my kids all the time, "Hey, what's your opinion on this?" And I always tell them, "Okay, it's like it's your birthday. What do you want for your birthday? I'm not telling you that's what you're going to get, but I would like to know
Mm,
your opinion."
mm,
You see? So I always make it clear
mm,
to them, I care what your opinion is, but it's not necessarily going to doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. I just
mm,
want to know what you think.
mm, mm.
So I think that might have been where I messed that up for him. But she's a young woman, right? Isn't it important what
Yeah.
she thinks? Isn't it important what she wants?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Shouldn't we
And more
consider
importantly,
it?
it's important for her to be able to express how she thinks or feels about it.
Right?
And then for you as the parent, you have the opportunity to decide how you meet that need or meet whatever's been expressed.
Right. And if you can't, it's also fine to tell your kid that, hey, it's fine to tell
Mm,
your kids no. That happens all the time. Because as
mm, mm,
parents, let's be honest, we're thinking about the rent, the Wi-Fi, the fuel in the car note. We're thinking about all this other stuff that the kids aren't thinking about.
mm, mm,
So it's important to let them know that, hey, listen, I heard what you said, but I cannot do it. Maybe you can express why or why not. That's fine. But just communicate to them. Okay, I heard you said you wanted a red cup for your birthday. I don't have enough money for a red cup, but I have enough money for a clear one.
mm,
You know,
mm.
stuff like that. But to just be like, oh, I didn't even think it mattered what your opinion was, or that you even had one. That from there she was mad.
Yeah, yeah.
From there she was mad.
So they don't have a healthy relationship, I assume.
They haven't spoken in like 4 weeks. Hoping that she's going to say Merry Christmas tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to, but I also don't want to force.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Got to
yeah,
be
that's
sensitive to how she's processing all of this, I guess.
yeah. So my story is not about my breakup with Blaz necessarily, but about
Yeah, yeah,
Blaz's breakup with the baby because I don't matter at all.
yeah. You do,
But the
but
baby
I
though,
guess not as much as how she feels.
yeah, the baby though.
Yeah. Hey, well, thank you so much for sharing this, Aisha. Um, it really it just puts a heavy print on the expression when the elephant's fight is the grass that suffers. It
Yeah,
really makes that come to life.
yeah, it really is. That's what I'm saying. All my lessons are mistakes that I've made.
Mm, mm.
It's not because I know what I was doing. Don't worry. We're not microwaves, Ka. We don't come with instructions.
No microwaves.
We figure it out as we go. Wouldn't it be so great if like the baby came out and then the instructions came out right behind?
Yeah, no, no, it'd be great. This really makes me think of the expression that I always find quite funny when people say that marriage is the only institution where you get the lesson before where you get the experience. You get the certificate before the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say. Good, you definitely get the certificate before the lesson because on that wedding day, cool, you guys have got your certificate. You're now officially married, but a lot of the lessons that y'all pick up along the way are definitely from after you guys already married.
Imagine how much fun this has been affecting my
Yeah,
marriage. I didn't even touch on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Imagine.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
very difficult, especially with someone who's like, I'm just trying to do the right thing. And you're like, yes, I know. But also, I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, yeah. Well, your daughter's going to be an adult soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot for her to process, and I guess one of the things that I always think about with these kind of things is What are our experience as adults teaching them as a child on how to handle relationships, especially if they're romantic ones?
Especially those ones. You know how they
Mm,
always be like, daughters marry their dads?
mm.
It's not necessarily true. Daughters,
No?
girls always marry their father figure, not their dad.
Oh,
It's
their
about
father figure.
perception. Yes, it's about perception, not
Yeah.
biology.
Mm, mm,
I have two sisters, and we all perceive my dad a different way. All
mm,
our husbands are different.
mm.
It's about perception. It's
That's
not
deep,
about
but man.
biology.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If I see my dad as a monster, that's probably the kind of guy I'm going to end up with. If my dad is the kind of guy who just lets me do what I want, that's probably the kind of guy I'm going with. Or you could
Mm,
be me, who enjoys a good tussle.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's all about perception. And you said you wanted a daughter. In such a router.
yeah. Wow. No, no, no. I still definitely do want to have a daughter one day.
Oh, daughters are the best. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my god,
yeah.
daughters are the best.
And
That's like my best friend right now. I'm like, oh my god. Everyone complains, oh my teenager is such a nightmare. Mine is the freaking best. Come and
yeah,
take a lesson
and
from me, babe.
and something tells me she will definitely be daddy's girl.
Oh,
Something,
she is.
somewhere,
She
somehow
is.
tells me she will be.
Yeah, she is. I just wish she could have taken advantage of both. I just
Yeah,
wish this other one just didn't do this. I would love so much for her to have two.
yeah, yeah.
It would be so great. But I guess that's the Lord's will, right? You get
I
one or not.
guess. I guess, and I guess that's the way to look at it because children are blessings anyway, and if that's God's will, well, that's God's will. We just
Yeah.
need to trust Him enough to say that He's doing what He knows is best.
Yeah,
So,
we need to check ourselves because
yeah.
the mistakes that you make, they drip into other people.
Mm.
They really do.
Well, thank you so much, Aisha, for sharing the story with us. And just to play back the lessons as we close out this episode. Number one, Mr. Right Now is not always right. I really like that one. Lesson number two, you marry the whole family. You get attached. When you get attached, you take the whole squad with you. And I think we've seen what that has meant in terms of your interaction with his mom. And then number three, don't sleep with anyone you're not willing to spend your life with. And you know what? I
Mhm.
But when you said that the first time round, I really didn't get what you meant because I assumed that you're saying don't get married to somebody who you don't want to spend your life with in the context of a marriage. But this extends way beyond that because you're not even married to this guy.
Right.
But because you have the child with him, you're literally spending the rest of your life with him.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
Yeah, I really get that now. And
Yeah.
I think that's easily I think that's the most important lesson out of all of this. Because I know a lot of people that just want to have kids because they feel they want to have children, but they
Yeah,
don't understand what it comes
anyone
with.
can just give birth to a child. That's not a
Yeah.
special skill. We all have grafts. We can do that.
We all have
But
guafs.
sorry,
I have
sorry.
not heard that expression
I'm
since I
so
was
sorry.
16.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
But it's not a special skill. Having a vagina is not a special skill. We can all do what we all have those. But being somebody's mother and then being
Yeah.
somebody's father and then
Yeah.
dealing with the father of your child. Oh, Jesus, Lord. They always talk about how bad it is to have a baby mama, but guys, it's also not nice to have a baby daddy, eh?
Baby daddy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because sometimes they're also just psychos.
Yeah, especially
Don't
the one that you
just
seem to be dealing with at the moment.
like if this is my that's my biggest issue with him is like if you would just tell me you had an issue, we probably wouldn't even go to court. But
Yeah.
I'm just getting court orders all the time. Jesus. Okay.
Does that does get tiring, doesn't it?
You've got $500 an hour for the court, but you don't have $500 a month for your kid. Are you kidding me?
Damn.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't even want the cash. Just pay the school fees, buy the uniforms, and get her hair done.
And be good.
We're good.
Wow. And last but not least, your lesson is, well, this one kind of crept in. You said don't think you can change someone because it never happens. And I don't know why this person thought they could change you because it hasn't panned out well. And maybe that's all the reason why they keep trying to rely on the court system to try and change the decision and change things, because they feel they have the power to change stuff. And they have the financial backing to support them changing stuff. And yet it's easily worked in their, not in their favor. It hasn't worked in their favor.
He needs to financial back in this bag child support so I can buy you some free coffees. That's what he needs to do.
Yay, get in there. Oi, Blaz, sort this money thing out, yeah? Because you're holding a lot of us up ransom here. Brilliant. Well, thanks, Aisha, for sharing this story with me. Really appreciate it, and I hope you and the family have an incredible Christmas and, more importantly, an amazing start to 2024.
Thank you, Tindo. I hope you do too. I will be with you, even though you won't see me. I'll just be in the listeners. But
oh yeah,
I'll be
Thank
there
you so
with
much.
Thank
you guys
you
have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I will catch you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
Peace.